and it's great to see you all this morning looking so happy and healthy after a wonderful evening last night. So I am the luckiest woman in the room to work with such a passionate man about health and wellness and drive the work here at CGF on this hugely important topic, which, as Dick said, is a global challenge and opportunity, but also extremely personalized, sensitive, and local. So we want to bring you through the call to action that Dick just made for the industry with another gentleman who's also extremely passionate about our work in the CGF on health and wellness, Emmanuel Faber from Danone. So Dick and Emmanuel, if you join me, and we're going to... So we're going to, in the next 30 minutes, take you on the movement, the journey of what we're doing at the Consumer Goods Forum to really make this live, to bring it to action in the store, in the communities, in the digital community, and with, of course, the employees of all of your companies. So what we'll do is we'll just roll a 1-minute video, please, to give you an idea and to anchor you into the topic of what we're doing on our flagship initiative, which is called Collaboration for Healthier Lives. Great, so I hope that gave you a snapshot of what we're trying to achieve with this global movement. And I want to start off by talking about your roles, the industry role in driving this global movement as retailers and manufacturers. And Dick, I'll always remember you said to me at a recent meeting, you said, Sharon, you can either lead this agenda or be a victim. And you can really see that you're leading. So can you give us more insights into the role of retailers in health and wellness and your call to action to the rest of your peers?
Yeah, no, I fully agree. We should be not a victim of something we sell. We sell the best products in the world, food. Food has never been so safe as today. And you see so many criticism coming up from everyone around us talking about, yeah, but it's not healthy and sustainability, blah, blah, blah. And we should not be the victim of that. We should be advancing ourselves and using that as an opportunity. That's my view as an industry leader. And we can make a difference, because if we use the food and tell the stories again, because the issue of the world today is that we eat maybe too much, sometimes too many calories, but we can also use it in a different way with a more balanced diet. So what can we do in helping our society to educate them, to talk about it? That's why I said also this in my speech, the prevention money should be much more going to prevention and talking about it, and NGOs and governments and local society coming together. That's where my belief is. And we sell the most beautiful products in the world. That's what we should do, and we should have informative choice. We should help our customers to make the right choices. That's my passion. It's also the passion about food is such a nutritional value, and I'm sure Emmanuel can tell much more about it, because there's so much good in food, and how can we use it in a better way? So that's my passion on this topic over the last 10 years in CGF, and I still believe we can make a difference.
And Emmanuel, you, last year we were on the stage in Berlin and you told us about the food revolution that's happening at Danone. Can you give us more insights into the trends and what you see as the global movement on health and wellness and the role of your manufacturers and your colleagues here in the room?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Sharon. I would echo Dick's words about being a victim or leading. The food revolution is actually not happening at Danone. It's happening outside. It's happening everywhere. When you look at the fact that people are now questioning the whole food system, something that looked like it was for granted 50 years ago doesn't look like it is anymore. Many more of our people today around us are challenging the way they have been provided food by the industry, manufacturers, brands, retailers, and they actually find alternative ways. They shop outside of our shops. They buy outside of our brands. It's very clear when you look at how many additional brands you see on the market every day. The internet is providing, and digital is providing, a very low entry point. There's never been such a proliferation of new brands today that are local, that are digital, that are tribal in the way they create a new vision, a purpose for the people that are following these brands. We, as an industry, I think, are lacking that sense of purpose in many ways. And unless we re-inject that sense of purpose in what we do every day with our people every day, through our brands, whether they are banner brands or product brands, we will just be victims. And it's a real question of a choice. How empty do we want this room in 10 years? Because really, we are losing market share. The large retailers are losing market share. 0.5 point, 1 point. This is true in food. This is true in consumer goods, in beauty, cosmetics, all over the place. So we need to address that urgently.
And this, I mean, we wouldn't be talking about it if it was something easy to do. Changing behaviors, nudging towards healthier practices, it's a difficult topic. And this industry is not always seen in the best light. Very often we're seen as part of the problem more so than a solution. What are the most challenging things for you as CEOs to drive this in your company's strategic priorities?
No, I don't think it's difficult to drive this priority, by the way, for us as Ahold Delhaize, certainly not. Because it's all about what we sell. So how do you drive priorities on sustainability, on health and well-being is also put it clear into your mission statement, fresh inspiration every day. So we want to be there and inspiring our customers and want to drive the health and well-being. We set targets as I showed in my presentation. We put it in our incentive schemes even as part of it. So we make it a journey for our people to be focusing on how we can create a more sustainable and selling more healthier products, but also create a community change. So that's where we believe the companies can contribute to it. We are, as I said, a local brand, so we're close to our communities. How can we engage with our communities? We have passionate store managers who are working in these communities, and they see these things as a natural part of their jobs even today, but they did it also 100 years ago. So that's where a store manager can contribute. We have 6,500 stores around the globe. So they contribute to that. And they see it also as one of the obligations we have. So I'm really also very positive on what we can do and also make that change. I think there's a lot of passion around the globe now in a lot of retailers, by the way, I see that. So.
Well, as a manufacturer, I could go through a whole list of what technically we're doing. Reformulating the products, lowering the sugar that we're using, changing the taste profiles, the recipes, making recipes simpler, cleaning the labels, more transparency information, front of the pack, etc. All of this is absolutely essential because that's what really happens in terms of changing the calorie count of what ultimately our consumers are ingesting and therefore impacting, as Dick shared in his earlier presentation, the prevention about health in terms versus the cost of treatment. But I would like to echo what Dick just said about people. Last year in Berlin, I said, this is a revolution. I don't really know where we're going, but we're going there. And I trust that our people can guide us. And we've taken this seriously at Danone. We've just announced the framework of our 2030 goals. And for 1 year now, we're starting a consultation with the 100,000 people at Danone around the world. Each of them will vote on each of these goals. Each of them will say locally, I'm in Indonesia in a sales team, and in China in a marketing team, and in a research team here in Singapore. This is what I believe is important for my team as a business. And then we will aggregate that and look at what these goals mean from a bottom-up standpoint. I think it's absolutely critical. And we're doing this because we believe that there is, as Dick said, there's a great passion about people in our teams. And I think in everybody's teams around this room, the millennial generation, they want to understand why they work. You know, it's not a given to work for a multinational company like Danone now anymore. You have lots of more exciting opportunities for a generation that's never been as educated as it is, even more in the what we continue to call emerging countries. So I think that if we realize that there is such a potential within our teams, we should unleash that potential. And indeed, aligning the governance, aligning the incentives, aligning the programs in a way that drives this health and wellness, but broadly speaking, I think the sustainability of what we do in a way that will answer one of the critical topics that I put in my speech last year in Berlin, which is people want to understand who are the people behind the brand. They take this brand and they turn it on the shelf to understand who we are. When Danone decides to become a B Corp, a benefit corporation, at the global scale, this is a way for us to say our purpose is to serve that food revolution. It's an unbiased purpose, and we want to find indicators that are showing these proof points that are showing that our brands are moving. So it's a matter of, I think there is a matter of leadership, commitment, of course, involvement, but making sure that this leadership is the everyday leadership of everyone, because there is a real power in the teams right now.
And that's something that I see we're learning on this Collaboration for Healthier Lives journey is the employees, their sense of purpose when they see that they work for companies that really put their health and well-being first. And you're right, Emmanuel, young people need that sense of purpose, I think, working for this industry. So what we wanted to do now is
By the way, if you talk about associates, don't forget healthy living starts also with our associates itself.
Absolutely.
We have millions of people around the globe working for our industry. I think we're one of the industries with the most people working around us. So it's not only the fact what you can do with your consumers and how to help communities, but also start with as an industry, also start with your own associates. And that's why target setting, talking about it, purpose-driven, makes it so important for us as an industry. Yeah. So it's a good point also to use this, to talk about associates, not only about our customers. Yeah.
So what we wanted to do was to bring you now into the action that's happening on the ground in a number of different markets, and why retailer and manufacturer collaboration, along with other stakeholders in the ecosystem, we really need to do this collectively and collaboratively. And we've started, and I remember, Emmanuel, you were on stage in Berlin, and you're with Doug Macmillan, and the movement had just started. Walmart and Danone were just getting going, and we went into our first country, which is Colombia, which two of our board members from Éxito and Cencosud began the movement in Bogota. And Dick, you're going to give us some nuggets from what happened and what we've seen since that began almost a year ago.
Yeah, these are exciting examples, by the way, as you can see in this picture, and amazing what you can do when you go into your store and start using the store base. I mentioned social interaction in the store is important for us. These are things you can do in your stores. And you create in your community engagement here. This is all about healthy eating, but also exercising. And you see the combination here in the store with university supported and communities to get our customers thinking about exercising. And one of the things what I understood from the team also in Colombia is that there is not a lot exercising. It's not like in Holland where everybody is biking. Maybe also in Colombia is a bit like this. So it's like the Tour de France you have to make. So that makes it easier in Holland. But exercising to start with that. And sometimes it's also expensive. Don't forget that. In a lot of our communities where we are in the, say, coming into the social environment of low income, they cannot often afford even to have exercising or go to a sports club, etc. That's why these things are so important to include it with communities. And this is a great example of Carlos and the team in Colombia. Yeah.
And then we moved to Turkey, and Migros Turkey, just the pace of change and how they really use digital to drive a collaboration for healthier lives in Turkey just absolutely amazed the team. So Emmanuel, do you want to give us some insights and nuggets from Turkey?
Yeah, I mean, this is fascinating because it only happens in a matter of a few months. Migros actually developed an app on the basis of their millions of membership card holders, which you have a little logo here showing. On the left, you have what would be a balanced diet for you, based on carbs and proteins, etc., and a few recommendations. And then on the right, the other circle is what your basket is based on the cash outs of your last few weeks, months, etc. So your history and tracking how much you actually match. Based on that, you click and you get a list of recommended items that you could shop immediately as you enter the shop if you wanted to move the circle into the same colors as the ones that are recommended for you. It's a very simple idea, but a very powerful one. And the truth is that only after a few months they started, they found out that more than half of the people were actually shopping in the right direction. And I've been told as well, with increased basket size overall, not including, in total with healthier baskets, but also bigger baskets at the end of the day. So I think it's a fantastic example. They've done that in a number of stores. What I think is most interesting in this case is the speed at which, through the leadership of the Migros team, how fast they've actually been pushing this into the system.
And then we moved to the US, and in the US, we work with 4 different retailers, Walmart, Walgreens Boots, Target, and of course your stores, Dick. So can you give us a flavor for what's happening in Hagerstown, which is in Maryland?
Yeah, Hagerstown, Maryland is a nice place where you see the obesity levels in the US are very high, as you know, but this is one of the cities also where it's extremely high. And there is, let's say, the collaboration between all the retailers and a lot of our manufacturer partners also is working in the stores, talking about the healthier options, nutritional value, nutritionists helping to understand our customers, what you can do with a healthier and a more balanced diet. This is, let's say, the educational part. We started here with all the retailers together. Most of them are also a member of CGF, but you don't need to be a member of CGF to do this. This is something where we collectively and collaboratively started in Hagerstown. And one of the things we also do there is, because we can talk a lot about what we do, we also need to measure our impact. And one of the things we do there is one of the, I think the university...
the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation.
Foundation, yeah. The foundation, one of the most important foundations also in the US on this, start helping us and the team to see what the impact now is and how we start reducing obesity levels in Hagerstown. And this is an important one also to show the evidence of all the actions. That's why it's not only that we do these things, but also how we start measuring ourselves. And with academic and scientific understanding, what works and what doesn't work. So we need also to test ourselves what is working, what is not working.
And we've made a commitment to the CGF board that we will bring those findings. We've given ourselves an ambitious 5-year plan on how we're hoping to shift behaviors and habits towards healthier practices, and we are measuring it in each country. So next we move to Japan, where some of the health and wellness challenges are a little bit different. The focus here with Aeon and Lawson is on healthy aging. Emmanuel, if you want to tell us about
Yes, I think if you look at the broader picture and why this is very meaningful is there are nearly, I think, 1 billion people that are above 60 in the world, and we know this is going to probably double in the next 15, 20 years. And Japan is an advanced phase of this in many ways, so it's an incredibly learning platform, experimenting platform. It's very interesting because it's both a country which is highly digitalized, and in the same time, it's facing a growing age with a population that is not digitally fluent. And so, in a way, the last mile delivery and the use of apps and everything doesn't come natural to many of these elderly people, which transforms the way convenience stores and proximity stores can serve as not only providers of products, but essentially providers of a human proximity, one-to-one contact for these people. And it's like including a government program where they've started to put some public services being putting these convenience stores in charge of them to deliver to the proximity citizens around. And so what Lawson and Aon are doing is basically leveraging this on the health side of it, giving advice, nutritional advice, giving advice on exercising as well, when people are coming and shopping locally. And of course, we know, and we will measure that, as you just said. I think one of the key challenges and probably opportunities is the impact measurement. And I think it's great that the CGF has decided at the board level that the health and wellness pillar would be equipped with money and resources to measure the impact of what we do. So there is a commitment that each of these experiments will be measured in terms of impact, so that it can help not only inform what we do as a collectivity, as an industry, but also public health in many ways.
And the United Kingdom, here I am. The United Kingdom is a very, very exciting initiative and huge ambition in the UK, huge, staggering figures in terms of health and wellness, and we're in conversations with a huge number of retailers and manufacturers. The collective movement has just been absolutely outstanding, unprecedented. And we're speaking with the Mayor of London to see what we can do as an industry to help him reach his ambition that London will be one of the healthiest cities in the world. Currently, the figures, it's not that. So can you give us more detail about the UK and our ambition?
Yeah, I hope we get cities competing to each other.
Yeah.
That would be the nicest thing, because it's really, it should be not only, it should be a societal movement. And that's why I'm a strong believer we can start a movement, but we need the cities in, we need the mayor in, we need the local communities, we need education be part of it, schools be part of it, and parents. So we need to influence all these four elements, and that's why if the ambition of London is really to be the healthiest city, and I know the obesity level in the UK are even growing faster now than the US, what I've seen in the numbers, then that is a clear ambition. And if we can drive that with them, including what we can do in our stores, but also the exercising, Emmanuel was mentioning, education and parent influence, because it's also the parental influence we need to have. So these are nice examples too.
And there was one other point that you raised as well, Dick, that's hugely important in the UK, is making health easy, accessible and affordable, and that's one of the pieces, the design of this program that we're really trying to design and drive forward. So we have a number of other countries that are moving along the journey. Costa Rica is one where we're hoping to launch this summer.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much that I could say about Costa Rica, as it's just starting. It's very exciting to see actually a whole lot of new countries that are likely to join up for new starts. We have had conversations with CGF board members over the last couple of days, really, that have highlighted the opportunity and actually the start of a commitment for, at least in my case, another 5 countries that I can't share right now beyond the plan, but it's really starting to map out a very impressive number of countries. And I think the point that this is multi-country is essential because this will only work, and this is the principle of this flagship initiative of the health and wellness pillar of CGF that we've called Collaboration for Healthy Lives. The point is really that it's one shop, and I would even say one shopping act at a time, of a branded product in a banner, and this is where exactly there's the tipping point, how we nudge people into behaving or adopting food and drinking behaviors that are going to be healthier. So I'm really thrilled about the fact that we have new countries, new partners leading the way, both manufacturers and retailers, to continue that journey.
And Dick, maybe if you want to give us insights into the Netherlands, which is one of those upcoming countries, and what you're driving, I know, with a personal passion, that you want to really help the Dutch people to live healthy and happy lives.
Yeah, you know, we do a lot of new things, and that's nice, but I would also encourage us to look at what is already happening, because in a lot of cases you see already initiatives. What we did with a couple of CEOs and other people in the societal impact in the Netherlands, we started a movement, Dutch, we call it Netherlands 2025. And we have 3 elements which we highlight as a movement. And it's all about creating movement in sustainable, let's say, growth, vital communities, and better education. So, because we believe that the future of our generation after us should be a better future even than ours. And it seems to be, if we see our generation has the best of the world today, and we need to create a better world again. So that's why we got that movement out as a group of people. And what we did, we also looked what are the initiatives already going on. Not new initiatives, combining initiatives and scaling them up. That was what our idea was. And we started years ago already with, in the Netherlands, for instance, with an institute which is called JOG, young people on a healthy, balanced life. So that was, and we started as, also with Danone, by the way, so coincident. And we never use that in a way as a nice example also here, because we do it already, and in a lot of cities we're working on it. But what we said in that movement, we need to make it also measurable now, not only talking about it. And the nice thing is because we combined now other movements. One of the most famous speed skater, I know that's not a sport in the rest of the world, but certainly the Dutch are very famous for speed skating, is doing the daily mile at schools. So we have already in these cities which we have used now, 100 schools working on a daily mile for kids, because we know a lot of exercising and education on exercising in schools is gone. And a daily mile is a simple thing. The teacher takes you out, walks 1,500 meters with the kids, talk about something else, and go back in school. And that's a daily mile. It's a simple thing. And all these things we now connect together, we connect the dots, influencing our parents, the parents of the kids itself, the work we do in the stores, the products we sell, and then create a movement. And we see the first good signs now coming up. One of the cities has proven a 5% decline in obese children. And we look really at let's say, the low-income neighborhoods at this moment, because that's where most of the issues are. So it is a nice movement. To create these movements, look at the initiatives they are already there, and connect them. Connect the dots. That's what we try to do.
And it's great to see encouraging figures starting to come out, and we've already learned in just 1 year a huge amount of learnings, things that have worked and haven't worked, and that's what we're trying to do, is to reiterate them into these different initiatives as we move forward. So we would, and as I said, this is a movement, it's a platform. We really welcome other retailers, manufacturers, industry partners to join us. And what I'd love to do just before we end, I'd love to ask you both as CEOs, personally, how do you stay healthy?
I am an avid rock climber, and I'm blessed with the responsibility of running a company that has chosen a lot of healthy food categories. So when I go into countries and do my business reviews, they deal with my diet on a daily basis just by tasting the product. So I'm trying to get to stay fit by adjusting my diet basically to my own needs, stay conscious of how much this is important, and I can check that very often when I climb.
Dick?
And he has great products, by the way. So, and I know Danone is making big impact also on changing the content and make it really a healthier balance. Because we don't know, as we did also in the commercial, we don't know how much sugar is in every product. And I think that if you would open that box better, we start understanding it. That's what we do a lot, and I do a lot, is also understanding what I eat, because you start with that. And second, I like biking, as most of the Dutch are, so so biking and hiking in the mountain, that keeps me healthy. And at the same time, traveling a lot to the US, I can tell you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and you're in the gym, so before you start working with the team. So it helped me also to make that balance in my life when I'm traveling a lot. So that's also helping. So
Right.
and keeping the teams also focusing on how we can create in our organization being examples of healthier living, and I think that's also important.
And I work very closely with both of your teams, and I feel it cascades down through the organizations. They can feel your passion for health and wellness, and it's a pleasure working with you both. Thank you so much. You thanked us, but I want to thank both of you, because the CGF couldn't do this without passionate leaders on all of the topics that we have. So thank you very, very much. And I'd like to call to the stage Peter Friedman, the Managing Director of the Consumer Goods Forum.
And
Thank
thank
you,
you,
Sharon, for leading this. So, and your co-chairs, Alex and Isabel, thanks also for leading this.
Thank you, guys. Come on.
Come on.
Up you go, up you go.
Thank you.
So I'm here, Dick, not to talk about health and wellness, but to talk about you. Please stand up. So first of all, I'd like you to, Emmanuel, don't go away. I want you to,
I'm here.
I'd like you to compare us, right? So here is a towering figure. And some of my friends would say, well, everyone looks to be towering versus you, Peter. But this is a man who is a really towering figure, and I wanted to pay tribute to you, Dick, also on behalf of Emmanuel, and actually, I think everyone in this room, pretty much. You are a leader in every sense of the word. You are certainly a leader as a retailer. And I think for many of us, it's obvious that one of your secrets is your humility. And I actually think it's the secret of most retailers, successful retailers. Your humility enables you to listen to people. And I think you've illustrated not only your humility, but your passion for retail and for consumers. You're also passionate about collaboration, and I think that has also come through today in the discussion you've been having with Emmanuel. You're quick to pay compliments to Emmanuel. Dick, as he said, has been a leader, at one point the leader of the Consumer Goods Forum, basically ever since it started, and before the Consumer Goods Forum, he was involved in many other collaborative efforts. This man believes in the power of retailers coming together and manufacturers and retailers coming together for positive change. You are absolutely a driver of the Consumer Goods Forum. We will miss you and your wife, Evelyn, who is in the front row here and has been photographing you. I don't think this is going to be the last time we see you in this forum, Dick. I have a feeling that we'll see you back. But Emmanuel, if you would maybe join me. I don't have some fancy gold watch to give this man. All I have is a small plaque which says, to Dick Boer with warm thanks for your leadership. And sincerely, that's meant on my behalf. It's been a great pleasure with working with you, but I think the CGF and everyone in this room. Dick, thank you and all the best.
Thank you very much. It's a very nice gift. And thank you so much for this recognition. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Emmanuel. Evelyn. Thank you very much. It has been a fantastic pleasure, Peter, working with you, but all of us working with colleagues like Emmanuel, working with people of our organization who are so passionate about collaboration and working together. We can make the change ourselves, and we should not be a victim. We have so many things to offer as an industry. That's what I'm passionate about. I hope to see you once back in a different way, in a different role maybe, but I will follow what CGF continue to do. And where I can, I will offer my support, because maybe something on the health and well-being, I can still help you guys on moving forward. Without any doubt, there is a lot to offer on the industry. So thanks a lot, and a great success for CGF in the coming years. And thank you, Peter, for your leadership, and thank you, Emmanuel, for your partnership. Thank you.